screen for us, please. Open Scripture, Micah chapter 7. Is anything going on in the world today that seems like that the world may be falling into a terrible shape? Do you see or hear anything on the news that makes you think that, is there any good out there? Do you see or hear anything on the news that makes you think, where are the good men and women, good people? Where are they at? You know, you listen to the news, and especially right now, this time of year, this time of political season. Yes, Danny.
They said this morning, everything was going great, everything was hunky-dory. Didn't know why everybody was thinking that the world's falling apart.
Isn't that amazing? If you're the devil, that's what you want to think, isn't it? If you're the devil, that's what you want the world to think, that everything is fine. And you know, the majority of the world thinks that it's that way. 90% of the world thinks that this is a good thing. Yes, Joe?
And the news item yesterday in Europe, they're starting to find nursing homes if they let the patients live.
Well, no, it's coming here, folks. But here it says, woe is me. Micah chapter 7, verse 1 through 3. Woe is me. In this opening 3 words, woe is me, he's upset, he's concerned. This book of Micah, this chapter, was penned, according to theologians, was penned about the year 710 BC. 710 BC. That would put it in the year of Hezekiah's reign. And as he's looking around, he said, for as when they have gathered summer fruits and the grape cleanings of the vintage, there is no cluster to eat. My soul desires the first ripe fruit. The good one is perished out of the earth. The good one, the good man, is perished out of the earth. And there is none upright among men. Does that sound sort of... If you watch the news and you watch and listen to the reports on the radio and you read the newspapers and magazines, doesn't this look, where are the good men? They're gone. There's none on earth anymore. And when you find someone that you can look up to and have a little bit of respect for, and you think, well, there's a good man. There's someone that we can trust. Doesn't have to go very far down the line of time until he does something that just trashes all that, doesn't he? You know, men and women claiming that they're Christian and they love God and will pray for you, but they stand up and they'll say, have a moment of silence. And they'll stand there for 2 seconds and stop. There's no prayer. A moment of silence. What's a moment of silence? What's a moment of silence? Silence is good once you pray. If you pray to God, that moment of silence is good to listen to what God has to say back. But every time there's something happens, that's the first thing you hear. We condemn that sincerely condemn that. We condemn that in the most horrific way. We condemn that. We'll keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And that's it. Nothing is ever done. Where's the good man? The good man is perished out of the earth, verse 2, and there is none upright among men. They all lie in wait for blood. They hunt every man his brother with a net. In today's society, the world is all out for what they can do for themselves, no matter who it hurts, no matter what it does to the individuals around them. We live in a world. It's all about me, I. Satan is controlling. It's all about power and money. And when it should be about trust and obedience to God. Verse 3. That they may do evil with both hands earnestly. What does that mean? and me being able to do evil with both hands. You know, it used to be the people, when they were doing something kind of, we used to call it a shady deal. If they was doing something they didn't want anybody to know about, they kind of hide it. They do something good, one in plain view, but they kind of hide the bad. But here, they do evil with both hands. Now they don't care. They're proud of their evil doings. Everything that's, excuse me, everything going on in the world today, all this evil, pulling away from God, doing what God has clearly told us that is an abomination to Him and His people shouldn't be doing. And the world is proud of it. Making laws supporting it. And for those that are against it, for those few men that are hard to find, they're making laws against them. Well, you're either a hater of this group or a hater of that group. You hate these people, you hate this way. Lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle. You can't judge someone from their lifestyle. No, you can't judge the person, but you can judge the style. Because we have clear words of what and how we're supposed to live and how we're supposed to serve God. They do evil with both hands earnestly. And get this now, you've got 3 years, you've got the prince, the leader, the judge, the one that's, does this sound familiar now? The prince and the judge that they ask for a reward, and the great man, he uttereth his mischievous desire. So they wrap it up. I was reading one Bible commentary on that last statement there, so they wrap it up. What does wrap it up mean? Now it's finished, it's done. We wrap the job up. Well, here, in the one commentary I read, said that they couldn't clearly understand the meaning of these words, translated from the original Hebrew. The meaning was unclear. And that was one commentary. Another commentary said that, so they wrap it up, means that their reign is complete. Their job is done. As we sort of look at a job being finished, wrapped up. But another commentary, and I like this one, it fit both patterns, both understandings, if you will. So they wrap it up. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says that a threefold cord is not easily broken. That if we stick together, if we stand together. Well, there's a picture here of the good men not standing together, but here, the ones that are evildoers and supporting evil and thinking of the evil ways, that lying in wait for blood, they come together in a threefold cord and they put an end to the good men. They think. So where are the good men today? Where are the good men? You know, as we study God's Word, we read the Bible, we pray, and we see things that needs to be done. I was impressed a while ago. I don't know if Patty's had a chance to talk to Lonnie yet or not. You remember back some weeks ago when the Adventure had done their investiture program here, there was 2 of the girls was looking for some support for one of their tuition for school. Teresa Patty just came up to me here a while ago and asked me if those girls and found that money. And I told her, I said, I don't know, you would have to talk to Bonnie, she can check that out. You see, Patty has saw a need, and that's been a while back, and she's still thinking about that need. How often is it that we see a need, do we do anything about it? How often is it that we see a need and we think we're going to do something about it, we want to do something about it, and then we forget about it? You know what that's called? Neglect. Neglect. You know, if you have a house and the roof's leaking, and you think, well, when I get time next week, I'll fix that roof, I'll repair that roof. Next week comes, it ain't raining. I don't need to fix it. It's okay, we'll go another week. Next week comes, it starts raining, well, I need to fix that roof. Sooner or later, you have a ruined house. That's the way it is with the Christian attitude. And what Micah is seeing here. And here's where he says that the first, when they have gathered the summer fruits as the grapelings of the vintage, there is no cluster to eat. How many likes fresh grapes off the vine? Have you ever went up to a grapevine and you pull those big clusters off, and you pull those off and you start eating? They're good, ain't they? They're sweet, they're juicy. But after you get the good grapes off, you take them and do whatever you're going to do with them. You're going to make jelly out of them or whatever you're going to do, put them in a salad, whatever. Days you go back, and there's them little bitty nubs out of it. Little bitty tiny, they're not together. They're not part of that cluster. They're just growing one here and there on that vine hanging off, and you pull one of those off, and a lot of times it's like a grape nut. You like grape nut cereal? I can't eat it. Even though I had good teeth, I couldn't eat it. But those grapes are hard and they're sour. And that's the best there are on the vine. And Micah sees this for Jerusalem and Judah, for God's people, the good grapes, the cluster, they'd all gone. Where's the good men gone and the women? Where are they? They sat back. They've not done the command of God. They've let the world take over. Not only around them, but sometimes in their own lives. Verse 14 of chapter 7, it says, "Feed thy people with thy rod, thy flock of thine heritage, and dwell solitarily in the wood. In the midst of Carmel, let them feed Bashan with Gilead, and as in the days of old. Take care of one another. Care for one another. Love one another." As Micah penned these words, according to what I've studied, in the year 710 BC, approximately 808 years before Christ, the world looked to Micah what the world looks like to us today. But you know, there was something that happened 400 years after the Old Testament was finally finished and penned. 400 years later, the New Testament came, and we find the birth of Jesus, the Savior. He came to restore good men. He came to restore people like you and me. He came to give us an example of how to treat one another, how to live for one another, and show us, give us an example. Didn't he say to come together like the clusters? In the Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25, forsake not the gathering of yourselves together as somehow. We're together, we worship together. That's where the sweetness comes from in the gospel. It's much better to worship together than it is alone. I've seen people and I talk to people and I've heard people say, oh, I worship at the house at my home. I have worship every morning. And that's great. We need to. We need that. But I don't need a church. I am the church. I can worship God anywhere. And that's true. But there's something about coming together and worshiping and living God. Following through on the words that He's given us and His teachings. It brings us strength, courage, and joy. Even in the times that it looks like the world is falling apart. We need to be closer together now than ever before. We need to be drawing closer together now than ever before. The end of that chapter, I'm going to let you all read it for yourselves. Micah chapter 7. If you read Micah chapter 7 this afternoon, or tonight, or any time, read Micah chapter 7. And you'll see the deliverance of God. God's mercy. God is a loving God. And if we need God in our lives ever before, we need Him now. I want to share one more verse here. Who is a God of, this is verse 18, who is a God like unto thee, that pardon iniquity, and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of His heritage? He retaineth not His anger forever, because He delighteth in mercy. Isn't that beautiful? See, the world today is pulling away from God. God is not a forceful God. He isn't going to force Himself on any of us. He's not going to force Himself on you, on me. But if we pull away from Him, His mercy and His protection is going to be withdrawn from us. And that's what's happening in this nation today. That's what's happening in the world. This nation is just beginning to feel the effects of pulling away from God. It's so blessed for so long, so many years. It was hard coming in, but God protected this country. He's still protecting it because He still has a faithful remnant. And I'm thankful for the people that are in the service and the law enforcement that we have. Is there good and bad both? Yes. But the majority of our military are wonderful men. And I'm very thankful. The majority of our police officers are good men. And I'm thankful for them. But it's always that. It's the bad apple, as the old saying goes, that gets the attention, isn't it? Why don't we turn that around so we're not so desolate anymore? God wants His people to shine. Where are the good men and the good women? They're right here. They're right here. God's people. And through Him and His power, we can make a difference. Not in us, not in ourselves. Nothing in us is any good. But the closer we walk with Him, the closer we get to Him, the more we'll want to serve Him, right? I heard a preacher say the other day that once you're saved by grace, and after that, there's nothing. That's sad. Yes, we are saved by grace, by Jesus' shed blood. But once we are saved by grace, should not we want to serve Him? John 14, 15. If you love me, keep my commandments. We have a duty to worship Him, to serve those around us. That these clusters of grapes around on the vine, His vineyard, can be sweet. How about you? Is that your desire? The world's falling apart around us, but we don't have to fall down with it, do we? The song we sang a while ago, stands up for Jesus. That's what we need to do. Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord, for this day that you've given us, and Lord, we thank you for your word.